Evening, everybody. If you haven't heard already, some of the Epstein files have been dropped. Matter of fact, it is called phase one of 5 phases that are going to be dropped. Information that is mostly already out because of the fact that the FBI and the DOJ are cock blocking or maybe have destroyed some of the evidence involved with the information that Pam Bondi is requesting. They said they're going to give her all the information, and we end up getting 200 of about 600 or 700 pages, I believe, is how the math works on that at this point. And Twitter is blowing up behind it. The three things that are trending the most on all sites, news, trending, and politics is Epstein list, Epstein client list, Epstein Island, and then it just goes on down the list. Pam Bondi and all the rest of them involved in this. Some people are pissed off and complaining that this ain't coming out fast enough and everything isn't being exposed immediately, and nobody's going to jail yet. Well, truth be known, folks, this is so much information. It's got to be let out in dribs and drabs for a lot of reasons, including to keep the story alive as long as possible, to let everybody on the planet know this isn't something that's going to come and go in a week. This is something that is going to take a month to lay out and maybe a couple of years to get everybody involved, hemmed up, incarcerated, the victims paid back in some way or another, some kind of restitution for being the victim of these heinous people. We also do have to consider the fact that a lot of these people are going to be under investigation, so putting their name out there as a suspect is probably not smart unless you've already got a pretty good idea of their whereabouts. Little things like that. The fact that we have victims that don't need to be named, so that is going to be redacted information. A lot of little factors that people are not figuring about, just wanting the information out immediately so these people will be arrested immediately. That's not actually how the law works. The way it works is you got to actually build the case, have the corroborated evidence, maybe the video footage that hasn't been released yet, along with client lists, with the black book, with the flight logs, with the been on the island, with the Bennett Diddy parties. If you fall into even two of those categories, one maybe not, but if you fall into two of those categories, yes, it's probably a problem and needs to be handled up on. And I'm sure they've got ways to figure out who was involved in this. And I'm not talking about just the people that went to the parties to get their freak on with the children. Those are sickos enough. But who I want to see fry is the politicians like Chuck Schumer uh, that were cozying up to Jeffrey Epstein, and I've got a clip about that. But more than that, the people like the guy that owns Victoria's Secret, somehow or another, a lot of his fashion models ended up being Jeffrey Epstein massage girls. Just some weird stuff like that that went on. And he helped fund Jeffrey Epstein, let Jeffrey Epstein stay in his $1 billion house or multi-million-dollar house. Jeffrey Epstein had friends in high places, but in reality, probably low places. And these people obviously had something to gain from being his friend. Maybe they were into the freak show thing. Maybe they were making money off the whole human trafficking trade. Maybe it was about being Jeffrey Epstein being a government asset and spying on other world leaders, including princes from England to Saudi Arabia. Because I'm sure that was a part of the whole process. I believe he was always able to make it, even when he was caught, convicted, and revealed in the courts that he was a problem. He got a slap on the wrist every time, or most of the time, it never even went to got that far. He only had one situation where he had to set any time in jail in Florida, and it was a lightest sentence you could ever imagine for one of those kind of freak people. But at any rate, it was because he had power and influence, and a lot of people were scared of him because he had ties to a lot of our three-lettered agencies, and that is the fact. They were using him, and he was using them, and he was probably collecting information on a lot of people, and a lot of that FBI in possession of video footage probably has been destroyed. Just my guess, at least some of it. But Cash Patel had something to say about that as well, about the gaps in the information. If we can't prove something because there's a missing part, they're going to figure out what the missing part is. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons they Granted, all these conservative podcasters, and most of them I can vouch for. I follow most of them pretty closely. 4 out of 5 of these anyway. But hopefully they'll be able to take the information they got and do what they do, reporting and investigative journalism, and maybe find something that Pam Bondi and Cash Patel and Dan Bongino haven't really caught up with yet. Having more minds involved in figuring this stuff out will make it happen quicker. Will make the exposure happen quicker. And so I think giving people like DC Drano, Cernovich, Jack Posobiec, the access to these Epstein files, even though they're mostly redacted, is still a good start. Getting it fresh on people's minds that it's coming. Lick your chops, get your popcorn, get your butter ready, get your salt. It's fixing to get ugly, but the first delay is none other than right out of Pam Bondi's mouth in a letter we're fixing to read. The FBI is only given portions of the whole amount of shit that needs to be coughed out. They're hiding, they're protecting, they're doing the old shake and bake. Says Pam Bondi reveals thousands of Epstein files still withheld by the FBI set for DOJ delivery by tomorrow. She said by tomorrow or else. After select conservatives granted early access to Epstein files, phase one. Says update an address letter to the FBI Director Cash Patel. Pam Bondi expressed concerns over the discovery of additional Epstein-related documents that had not been previously disclosed. She has ordered the FBI to provide the full and complete Epstein files by Friday morning, as directed, an immediate investigation into the oversight. That's right. Start that investigation. Attorney General Pam Bondi reveals in a letter to the FBI Director Cash Patel that the FBI is withholding some of the documents from her. They're trying to cockblock her, as they say. It says, before you came into the office, this is the transcript. Before you came into the office, I requested the full and complete files related to Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consistently primarily flight logs, Epstein list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this is the full document responsive to my request. As repeated, assured by the FBI that they had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned the source of the FBI field office, a whistleblower in New York, was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. These you see what they're doing here? They're not being cooperative, and the ass need to be fired for that. I would be putting these people on the chopping block. Oh, you don't want to give it up? Come on, come with me. Let's go talk to Mr. Trump. See if you still got a job in about 15 minutes. That's what I'd be doing. Says I'm also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into my order to the FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your finding and proposed personal action within 14 days. You're going to give up the information. You're going to tell us why it was held, who lied about it, who's responsible, and what are you going to do about it? Who's going to take personal action about it within 14 days? I appreciate your immediate attention, she says, to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to continuing to work and serve our president and our country. I love it. I love it. Yeah, the FBI is playing cock block games and it ain't working. They're going to give it up. We know it exists. They're going to give it up, or somebody's going to jail for destroying evidence or obstructing justice, and at least going to lose their job at a minimum. I want to see them go to jail. You want to play FBI guy with your own set of rules? You ask me to go to jail. Just my opinion. Says this is a story, and I believe this is probably pretty accurate. This is a story. President Trump and Pam Bondi committed to releasing the Epstein files. The FBI was told to deliver the files to Bondi, which they did, about 200 pages. Says Bondi smelled a rat because there was nothing juicy in the 200 pages, just flight logs and a Rolodex of phone numbers and things. Still, Bondi promised to release the documents, so she has prepared a binder of them. Then last night, a whistleblower contacted Bondi and revealed that Southern District of New York was hiding potentially thousands of Epstein's files, defying Bondi's order to give them all to her. We're talking records, evidence, etc. Juicy stuff. Or recordings. Ooh, video footage. These swamp creatures deceive Bondi, Cash telling you be outraged that their binder is boring. You should be, because the evil deep state lied to your face. The binder is powerful because it's tangible physical evidence of the disgusting stunt that they tried to pull. Bondi is now demanding all Epstein evidence from SDNU NY, plus an investigation into the person who committed the act of defiance. Yeah, somebody's going to have a bad day here in a few days behind that action. Yeah, somebody's in trouble. Some bad actor is in. They're gonna find out who it is. The legacy has betrayed you again and again and again. They lie to you. They smear you. They gaslight you. They deserve no special access to real-time exposure of corruption because they played a role in covering it up in the first place, which is true. I don't blame Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, or anybody involved that is part of Trump's cabinet for the slow rollout. I blame the bureaucrats at the top that are trying to make Pam Bondi look like a fool because they're refusing to do their job and actually just give up the information. Who are they protecting? Their self or their friends? That's all I can ask. Says, you are the media, Elon said. Yes, we are. So celebrate the regular people are being given access to the most powerful people in our country to report on despicable corruption, and it's being uncovered in real time. And be very, very angry that deep state agents in the swamp at the SDNY are at the very moment defying President Trump and AG Bondi and you who voted him into office, lying and hiding the truth about Jeffrey Epstein because they don't want their corruption and weaponization of government exposed. That's the story. They don't want a lot more than that exposed, but we'll leave that alone. I can't imagine what the video. When they got people on video footage at one of Jeffrey Epstein's properties doing the nasty, and they recognize that person, and they're with the child, anybody under 18, they should not hesitate to go snatch that sucker up and say, "Tell me everything you want to know, everything we want to know, or your ass will never get out of prison." And then get them to tell off on everybody involved as high as they can go, and then still put their ass in prison for the rest of their life. Give them a life sentence in a day. That'd be good enough, right? 20 years and a supermax. Most of these old dinosaurs won't make it 5 years in a place like that. Says Pam Bondi has basically exposed the FBI today from its withholding all these thousands of pages of information. And here's the letter again. Okay, let's scroll past this. I've already covered this somewhat. Yeah, the FBI tried to pull the old okey doke bullshit and it didn't work. Says this is Cash Patel's tweet just hours ago because of all the ruckus on X right now. Says breaking FBI Director Cash Patel responded to X to the possible cover up of the Epstein list. If there are any gaps in the Epstein investigation, we will find them. If records have been hidden, we will uncover them and we will bring everything to the DOJ. That's right. Yep. We're going to restore justice in this country, folks. If there are any gaps, we're going to get them. We're going to make sure we have integrity and accountability and unwavering pursuit of justice. There will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned. For anyone that is prior to the current bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued and brought to justice. Meaning these assholes in the FBI that are trying to still hide, destroy, and cover up or cockblock information, you're on the chopping block too. I love it. I love it. Meaning, go ahead and stick your head up, see what happens. Go ahead and try to do something stupid. Try to protect one of Jeffrey Epstein's buddies. Maybe some of your buddies, like Chuck. Chuck Schumer donated to Jeffrey Epstein, or did Jeffrey Epstein donate to Chuck Schumer? I don't know which. Now, this here is probably a true statement, Denny. Since Pam Bondi won't do it, I'll do it. The Epstein client list. And this is just the main folks, and I don't believe that Pam Bondi is going to stop. I believe Pam Bondi is going to prosecute anybody from either political party that is involved in messing with children. I believe that she has that kind of integrity. And so it's not going to matter if it's Mitch McConnell, Tom Cotton, anybody that is caught doing the dirty, especially with underage people. I have no mercy for those people, and I hope she doesn't either. Trump's actually talked about the death penalty for those types, and matter of fact, in Florida, where Pam Bondi was the attorney general, one of her accolades is the fact that she got the death penalty for the state for certain crimes, including this one, the sicko one. Yeah, it's very possible, folks, that Congress will have new numbers if this investigation is actually blown wide open and everybody involved gets exposed. We may have a whole different set of numbers in there between 49 and 51, 48 and 52, whatever it is every time. We may have to do a whole nother, we may have to hold special elections when the Epstein case is over. Says, never forget old Chucky Schumer received thousands of dollars in donations from Jeffrey Epstein. I wonder why. I wonder why. Now, this was back in 2019. This guy says, "Do you think Chucky is in this list, or is in the list, or was he faithful to his woman, who looks like a man?" And that's absolutely true. Chuck Schumer's wife looks like some actor. Looks like a man, though, for sure. I hate to say that about any woman, but I'm not sure it's a woman. Just being honest. Uh, Listen, as Bill Gates laughed maniacally when asked about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. I remember this. This is a while back. But it was absolutely one of those moments in time that kind of stuck in my head because he wasn't just on the island, on the plane, hanging out with Epstein, but he was one of his best friends. He was around him like Bill Clinton a lot, hanging out on the islands, hanging out with him in several of his locations. This guy is obviously was a part of the problem. Just gonna leave it at that.
For anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead. So, in general, you always have to be careful.
What?
Wow.
For
She asked him, "What about your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and you being on the island and on the plane and all that?" And he said, "Well, he's dead, and you got to be careful." What kind of? That was a weird statement to make. Think he had anything to do with it? Speculation. It was somebody involved with Mossad. Maybe somebody involved with one of these raghead countries. And pardon my French, I don't know. People that live in the sand over in the Middle East, one of those countries. Raghead may sound a little racist, folks. I was trying to clean that up. So now that Donald Trump has been cleared of the Epstein client list, now know why they are so afraid of him. When here's your reminder of what Donald Trump has to say about child traffickers.
100% gone, 100% destroyed. They'll come back now because we have a weak administration. I will use Title 42 to end the child trafficking crisis by returning all trafficked children to their families in their home countries and without delay. And I will urge Congress to ensure that anyone caught trafficking children across our border receives the death penalty immediately. And that includes also for women, because women, as you know, are number one in trafficking. Children are actually number two. I want to thank Eduardo, Jim, Tim Ballard, and 100.
The death penalty for human trafficking, for the sickness that is part of the whole Epstein, Weinstein, Diddy scene, just sickness. And these are just a couple. These are the ones we know about. I'm sure this goes on in a lot of places, especially when you have these people that have money and power. and I guess get the rocks off on destroying people's lives, controlling people. Pretty sick stuff, folks. A couple more little clips here for you today, folks, and we'll call it a day. So now, Marsha Blackburn has been on this for a long time. I've watched her probably 20 times, watching Forbes or C-SPAN, where they're having House hearings and Senate hearings, and I do like to watch Marsha Blackburn. I believe she is passionate about certain things, just like all politicians are passionate about their certain pet project things, that a hill that they're willing to die on. And for a very long time, I've noticed that Marsha Blackburn is one of these people that has never stopped asking questions about Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm glad to see that she is speaking out about it, because it's right on time. It says Miss Blackburn is demanding the immediate arrest of everyone tied to the Epstein list. She's not playing. She's just lock these suckers up.
So for me, this is not about the celebrity, and I know that there are many people that want to see who all flew on his planes and guested at his Caribbean island. But let's break these human trafficking rings apart. Let's get these people apprehended. Let's get them prosecuted. Let's get
Yes,
them jailed. Let's put an end to this and save lives. What we have learned is that there were people that had relationships with Jeffrey Epstein and then decided to move away from that or disavow that relationship after he was jailed. I think that's the kind of thing that you're always going to see that happen. I
that's actually a good point, folks. Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of people that were, I guess, his friends in his inner circle, people he hung out with at fundraisers and maybe even partied with, or knew each other through other connections at the country club or whatever. But once he started getting caught, once he actually had to go to jail in Florida behind those 14-year-olds giving him massages and told off on him, and they gave him a spank on the wrist behind that. Once he was a convicted offender at that point, anybody that continued to be his friend or all of a sudden wanted to be his friend, now those people are the ones in question, not necessarily everybody before that, because not everybody before that may not have known his lifestyle. You may have been at his party along with 500 other people and not know what's going on upstairs. I don't know how they rolled over there, so I can't say. It may have just been freak show as you walk to the front door. It may have been like the Diddy parties, an after party type thing. Who really knows at this point? So that's a good point, Marcia.
I do find it very interesting that the French human trafficker and then Epstein both died in jail while they were awaiting trial. And this just again speaks to the curiosity that people have and the concern that this was much larger than just flights to an island or something, that this was a part of a global human trafficking and sex trafficking ring. Getting to the answer of the question of, is there more there? This is the reason for getting that little black book, because Ghislaine
Here we
Maxwell
go.
maintained the relationships, is what we understand. And she maintained control of the little black book. Our understanding is that that information is held by the FBI, and we
That's the ledgers.
look forward to being able to see who those relationships were with.
I'm sure that was ledgers of people, not just names, contacts, but people that maybe he got the girls from, who he sold the girls to, who he rented the girls to, who he invited to his house to be a part of the situation for whatever purposes, maybe just to get him on camera because that was what the government wanted of him this week. There's so many different possibilities here because this stuff went on for years and years and years, and not at just one location. There's rumors that he had one island and also partied on another island, same type scenario, and he had 3 or 4 houses of his own and he had people that were willing to let him hang out in their $500 million house for the week, for the month, whatever. I guess to have these soirees. It's pretty sick stuff, folks. Got a couple little more clips here for you, folks. So Donald Trump counselor Alina Habba calls Epstein list deeply disturbing. Now, I do want to say this before I play this video here. I have all faith in the world that if there is a way that Trump, Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, Dan Bongino can make these folks mind and give up the information or go to prison otherwise, I believe they're going to do it. I believe they got the power of the federal government behind them, and these people that stand up and try to be some kind of damage control factor to keep their people safe are going to get they're going to get axed. Not just with their job position, but they're going to probably end up catching some real charges, and I hope they do. And I don't have any doubt that even though the stuff may be dribbled out, slow walked, or it may have to be a fight in Washington going on right now about giving up information and holding information back, I bet they're butting heads today. I almost guarantee it from the letter that Pam Bondi wrote. We're getting at the FBI's going, yeah, we give you everything. And then we find out, oh, shit, that wasn't everything. We got a whistleblower. FBI is lying their ass. All these three-lettered agencies are trying to lie to save face for damage control purposes and to prevent people from really having a bad day when the truth comes out. This is Pierce Morgan. I don't like the guy, but he does have some great guests at times. So we'll listen to a minute of Pierce Morgan with Alina Habba.
Jeffrey Epstein files, we're told, are to be imminently unleashed. And already we saw the Attorney General Pam Bondi say that the scale of what happened is far worse than anyone realized. Well over 200, maybe 250 victims, and that we're going to get information either later today or tomorrow from these files. What can you tell me about that?
I believe it will be today. I was just with, I saw Pam and Cash in the White House just before coming on your show. And I can tell you that I haven't been privy to it yet, but I know it is coming out. They will be taking portions of it. We have to be patient. And I said this last night at a dinner
Yes,
with some
please
media. And I
be
said, I
patient.
think America needs to remember one thing. We are going to be promises made, promises kept. But when you're dealing with victims. And by the way, this is a perfect example of a case that was vetted, that went through trial, that had testimony, and was prosecuted the right way. I don't preemptively attack. That's just not the way I operate. But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Cash and Pam, there will be accountability.
And we know that only one person so far has actually gone to prison over that whole scandal. It was Ghislaine Maxwell, the former lover of Jeffrey Epstein. No man so far has actually been put in prison as a result of what happened. Do you think
Ghislaine Maxwell, whether you know it or not, was the ringleader? She was the one that was playing her father, her influence through her father, her ability to chum up to royals all over the world was only possible through her connections. Jeffrey Epstein was a rich man, but he was also a nobody on certain levels. I believe this sickness that Jeffrey Epstein had, Ghislaine Maxwell played on that, played on Jeffrey Epstein, and I believe she was probably more of a ringleader than Epstein. Epstein was probably the figurehead in the end, the one that had all the access due to her. That's just my beliefs. I'm surprised she's still alive, to be honest with you folks, just because of the way our government works with their own cover-up process. But we'll see. We'll see how all this goes down. But I want to see prosecutions too. But we're only 30 days in on this presidency, folks. We've got plenty of time. First thing I want to see him do, though, is arrest the ones that are still doing this to the kids. That's who needs to go to jail immediately. The ones that are still involved in this whole situation. Got a banger video for you here at the end, folks. I hope I don't get a copyright issue behind it, but it is so good. I have to share it. Now, you may have seen it before, but I still love it. Here we go, folks.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off. Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists. I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. Yeah. We will take care of it.
I love it. I love it. That's the good shit right there. Giving all props to Jelly Meme Team. I do steal their stuff occasionally. Actually, I found it on somebody else's channel or somebody else's feed, but Jelly Meme Team is the creator. So all props go to them. Hopefully you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and share. Go to Patriots. Over and out.